It's a matter that has gotten the attention of not only Kenyans, but the world at large. Shocking, the Shakahola situation. 90 bodies and counting being exhumed from that particular place. And tonight we are joined by Kilifi Governor, that is Gideon Mung'aro, to understand what really has been taking place in this particular area. Governor, thank you for your time here on TV 47. Straight into it, let's understand, even before we talk about Kilifi County, as Kenyans, the whole country, how did we get to this particular situation that we are witnessing in Shakahola?
I think in Kenya we have allowed anybody, basically any Tom, Dick and Harry can open today a church. People, when they want to have ugali on their table, they will just start a church anywhere. You'll see sometimes you drive in these roads, even in my own county, you find 3 people with public addresses outside preaching to themselves. I think I know this debate has been there before, but I think what we need seriously to do is to regulate churches. And they must be, the people who are even given license must be thoroughly investigated before they are allowed to operate these churches.
Well, Governor, even before we talk or discuss the issue about regulating of churches, something that Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki had hinted on, let's talk about this whole issue. You as the CEO, as the Chief Executive Officer of Kilifi County, the governor for 8 months now, you mean you didn't know what was happening in Shakahola?
Within the county, you can't know much because you see on the ward level, we have a ward administrator. This matter, as you have seen, it's happening in a forest. Yeah? To anybody think in their senses that a ward administrator will be walking in a forest every morning to see what is going on, it's impossible. The only people who could have given us information, because there are at least houses there, unless they tell us there's no nyumba kumi in that area, there's no village elders, because there's several houses there. So either they did not form those groups where they normally have village elders and nyumba kumi. Somebody either slept on the job, or some people knew and they didn't report. The investigation will tell, because you are told that even there are people who are working there as a gang. I think 8 of them have been arrested, who normally guard these people who have gone to fast. What does it tell you? That probably even some people went just for prayers and they were forced to fast. Yeah, who knows? So it's a matter which needs serious investigation. But as a county government, as you all well know, that we are not in charge of security apparatus at the county level. The chair of the county security team is the county commissioner. We don't sit in the committees.
But I imagine once in a while you are in constant communication with the county commissioner, who is also in Kilifi County. I believe you do talk to the county commissioner.
Yeah, we talk. Yeah, I talk with the police. I meet with them, but they never told me that anybody had a knowledge of what was going on. I've never heard of it. The last time I heard of that guy called Mackenzie was around 2019, when the then area member of parliament for Malindi, now the current CS gender, Honorable Aisha Juma, was complaining that there's a church where somebody is tearing certificates of people, and she raised an alarm. And the guy was arrested briefly and then was released again, I think by court, or I don't know if by the police, I can't remember. And then he allegedly apparently announced that he had stopped preaching and has closed his church. Yeah.
Well, if that is the case, then talking of ward administrators, who do they report to? I believe, again, ward administrators, they do report to you on what is happening on the ground level, at the grassroots level.
They have never brought, it has never come to them. At the ward level, what they do is they coordinate county affairs, especially projects and anything to do with the county, all the devolved functions. So at a ward level, you would have the ward administrator. Sometimes you would have extension officers of agriculture, and you have seen that place is a forest. There's no agricultural activities which are going on, where probably an extension officer would have noticed something and reported. So at that level, you know, the ward administrator doesn't have much reporting, because it doesn't have a structure of village administrators, which is not yet on. We are thinking when we have a budget in future to implement that, because it's part of the structure which has not been put in the county at the moment. But we have been in office for 8 months, so before we can go to those levels, we need also to check our wage bill and see when we can also engage village administrators. Probably at that point we'll be able to get more information from a much lower level. Yeah. For now, the people who are there are assistant chiefs, village elders, nyumba kumi. Those are the people probably who have information. They don't report to us, they don't report to the ward administrator, they report to the chief reports to the DO reports to the DC reports to the county commissioner. That's how it goes.
Governor, as you respond to these issues, you are speaking like you are vindicating yourself from this particular whole matter.
No, I'm not vindicating myself. It's not my duty, security. So for me to say that I should have known, I could have known only when the security apparatus of the county had informed me, no, Governor, there's this and this going on in the county. If nobody reports to me, I wouldn't know. But I think if they knew themselves, probably wouldn't be where we are, unless somebody knew and then neglected the information. But as you see, everybody is baffled, including the security.
Well, since you took the reins of power, it is approximately 8 months since you took over as the governor of Kilifi County. And this whole issue, as earlier mentioned, you heard of it in 2019. And it did not get to your attention of what was happening in Shakahola.
First of all, the land which this guy is occupying is a controversial property. When I was MP for Malindi, Shakahola was part of my area. And that time we had the problem of Chakama Ranch, which originally belonged to the people of Kilifi. They had a group ranch, which eventually then exchanged hands. Some grabbers took a loan in a bank. During the Kibaki time, I followed it up as MP for Malindi, and I got Chakama Phase 1 brought back, paid back by the government. Then it was demarcated and allocated to the people. Before I left Malindi, just when I came as MP for Kilifi North, we managed to also secure Chakama 2, which was also allocated to the people. The area this guy is called Chakama 3. It is still controversial because somebody somewhere also has a title which he took from the ranchers and took a loan in the bank. So there's still a matter being pursued by both us and the national government. So it's an area where you wouldn't have said even the community is living there as squatters or as allocated land. You can see you have very sparsy shelters there, and you have to really go deep in the forest to find them. Today we have actually sent a dozer to try to make roads so that becomes easier also for the people who are the homicide team which are on the ground. So it's a security area. It's the only place where somebody who wants to probably move in that forest must be armed, because you never know what you might... you don't forget that the same area where that Italian girl was kidnapped. So that's a forest which goes deeper. When you follow it up, it can lead you all the way to Boni Forest. So,
Governor, fair enough. We are talking about security agencies, administrators. Then let me pick your mind on this. Then who should be held culpable to whatever is happening in Shakahola? Bodies being exhumed, people being saved, people being rescued from the forest. But most worrying are the numbers which keep rising on a daily basis of bodies being exhumed.
I think this is not a matter of just having a blame on who is supposed to be blamed. I think what we need to say, both the national government who are in charge of security and the county government, is that we need to be more vigilant, because if such a thing happens in such a place, then what else can happen? If somebody can live there, people visit there, but we need also to encourage our people, the borders, all these people, there's the community policing must be really looked into. We are doing the community policing thing now in Kilifi, and soon it will come to the assembly, so that we can have more. This is not because of this incident, we had already started, so that we can be able to be more involved in also these matters of the community. Because if such an incident can go on, this area is where not Shakahola, but Chakama, very close. It's the same location. Chakama location is equivalent to a whole constituency. That's why the minister yesterday, the CS yesterday was saying we should gazette that place as a division so that it can have a DO, security apparatus on the ground, because it's a very big constituency. This constituency is where the former governor, the current Speaker of the Senate, comes from, is that location, that ward. Adu Ward starts from the border of Garsen to Shakahola. If you drive from the Malindi Road, from where the border of Adu Ward till Shakahola will be over 110 kilometers. So it's really a vast area, ward, which even I'm sure everybody who is there, the ward administrator, all the government officials probably concentrate on the villages which are developed, where there's a population. Probably place like the Shakahola area where they have that forest, you wouldn't be able to know. I would have noticed probably even myself. I took a tour with the director, one of the coast director of KWS with the county commissioner. We flew there with a helicopter for over 2 hours to check for charcoal burning. You could notice the charcoal where people are burning, but because of the canopy of the forest, you cannot really detect if people very easily.
Then, from where you sit, as the governor, as the person in charge of Kilifi County in the devolved unit, would you recommend for the reshuffle of top security organs who are serving currently in your county?
In view of what has happened, I think the national government should to look into the security apparatus in Kilifi. Some of them are quite new. You might blame them for nothing. Probably they need to look who was there from 2019. Probably to check those people who have been in 2019. There are people who probably have overstayed in the area. Probably the government needs to move in and change these people. I know the county commander is quite new. There are quite few officers who are quite new. The county commissioner is hardly 2 weeks. So to also apportion blame to them, I think would be unfair. I think we need to check the people who are probably overstayed from the security in their county.
At the center of all this raging debate is one man by the name Paul Mackenzie. And earlier on, Interior Cabinet Secretary for that is Kithure Kindiki, while addressing the media in Shakahola when he visited that place, he did recommend that the prosecuting and also the investigating bodies to build up a case against Paul Mackenzie that he might be charged with possible counts of terrorism and also genocide. What is your take on this?
I don't know. I don't want also people to call it terrorism, because once you call it terrorism and that this thing have now catched the world attention, probably might paint Kilifi as a terrorist zone, which will not be very fair for tourism, especially for us who rely on tourism. Kilifi relies on tourism, and Kilifi is safe, apart from this incident of Mackenzie. So I would say they build a case on very strong grounds to make sure that this guy doesn't go scot-free. But I think the word terrorism, we must go easy a bit, because it might alarm our visitors who come to Kilifi County.
Again, there's this whole debate that has been dominating across most Kenyans, the whole issue of regulating religious institutions. Even as we wrap this particular discussion, what is your take on this as a leader within the country?
I think the government has always been doing this with the mosques because of terrorism, as you said, and I think it should expand. Now you have realized, before you thought maybe it's only Muslim who are radicalized by the Al-Shabaab team, and now you have seen it's also in church. This is even worse, because nobody was shot dead. There was no bomb there. But look the number of people who have died, with nobody who is probably holding a knife, unless we get to know from the autopsies if anybody was murdered. What does it tell us? That the danger is not only those who are armed, but the radicalization of the people on various angles. One thing the police probably need to establish is, did these people starve willingly, or were they forced to starve? Because you have seen that people who are guarding these people who have been arrested, and the police is still expanding the net, as you have said. We need to get to know, did people go there just simply for a prayer, then they were held hostage to this level? There are so many things which must be unraveled in this thing. It's not a matter of just arresting and whatever. People need to get to know, and then you can build up the case. I was speaking yesterday with the president of the Law Society of Kenya, and they're intending to come in. They're creating a team to come in next week to see how we can also try to stand for the victims. And one of the things I think they need to really seriously look into during the autopsy is to check if some of these people were either strangled or were they murdered, or is only purely starvation. Yeah.
Many people have been asking since this revelation of Shakahola, bodies been exhumed there. You have not been seen much around. One will question, where have you been?
No, I was, you know, when the first day when this thing happened, I had a very serious ear infection for 2 days. But still I got up and I met with the count commander with all the pens I had, and I made sure that I mobilized the arrest, because when these 4 bodies were discovered, the guy went missing. And I called the count commander, we sat, and she said maybe if we give a reward for those people who will volunteer information, will be good. And I did it as a county. All the operations which have been going on there are being funded by the county, by the way. And I gave a reward, and 6 hours later we arrested Mackenzie. Yeah? When he was arrested, we started the other operations, and we've been on the ground. As I'm talking to you, we because the hospital is overwhelmed, the morgues are overwhelmed, we managed to coordinate with Red Cross, who we work very closely with. I'm the patron of Red Cross in Kilifi County. By this morning, we have received a 40-foot container, which is going to operate as a temporal morgue at the hospital, which will be able to accommodate up to 300 bodies. Already we have hired a crane from Mombasa, because we don't have any in Kilifi County. It's on its way to Malindi. By 3 o'clock, we should have a morgue set up and running, because even already the bodies where they are being held, they might rot. It might be difficult for the autopsy then. So by 3 o'clock this afternoon, we hope. So we have been on the ground. I have a team with dozers going to the ground to make roads. I'll be there on Friday. But from day one, I think the county team has been on the ground feeding people, making sure the police who are working there are well fed. All the operations going on there are being handled by the county. We have, I personally paid the first accommodation for not even the county at the beginning, because the county, you know, you have procedures to follow. I paid myself to accommodate the people who were rescued from there. Yeah, after the church where they were, the church said they were supposed to be moved. I made sure that I got a place, a school where the owner accepted that we can accommodate them. We are not accommodating only the people who have been rescued, even the family members who have come to claim their people are all being fed by the county. Yeah.
Bwana Governor, I think we will have to call it a wrap on that particular note. Thank you for making time for us here on TV47. But to our viewer, this is a story that we are going to keep tabs on. 90 bodies and counting have been exhumed in Shakahola. Our very own Sharon Baranga will be pitching tent in that particular county to bring us more details. And this is a story that we will be keeping tabs here on TV47.